Good evening, Jinx. Oops. Hello, Kessler, Sun Falcon. Beef nuggets. Hello. So where is everybody tonight? Where on the planet are you? Trevormatic, hello. Brother Captain. Ratster. Hello everybody. So what's going on tonight? I'm doing my little chicken thing. Alright, yeah, I know the one. That guy. Yeah, pretty cool. I'm just putting some little highlighting on the pattern of him. If you want to see what he looks like, he's just the last picture in my gallery, and the pattern on his hind quarters is just what I'm working on right now. So I'm just putting some highlighting into that, as well as just maybe neatening in some areas up. And as usual, I just fancied some company while I do that. I'm not sure how bright this light is really. Let's have a look what wattage it is. I mean, the camera will always make things look different. 11 watts. Cool white light. 11 watts isn't a lot. Really. Yeah, they are big painting projects, those Nurgle things, aren't they? Anyone got any questions? In fact, let me tell you a story about the most important time in my painting career. Alright, so here we go. Let me get me brew. Are you all settled? So, years ago when I was young, like 13 maybe, 12, 13, I ended up in Manchester Games Workshop. And I've told this story before, but I have a reason for telling it now. So when I was about 13, 12, 13, I was in Games Workshop Manchester, and this was from a time they did heavy metal road shows. And it wasn't just the heavy metal team that went round the stores painting and doing shows. There was some gamers there, and on this occasion, the painter was Tim Prow, and he also had Nigel Stillman with him as well, and both those guys sat painting. And as a little youngster in that store, I just sat opposite. It was like a table as big as this. It wasn't too big really. I sat opposite and watched Tim Prow paint a model from start to finish, and it was a Chaos Warrior. So you're talking back in the late 80s, 90s, early 90s kind of era. And this guy, the Chaos Warrior, he's down in me gallery as well. You can see him. I posted a picture of him. Just like pointing. He's all in bone armour, and he's just got robes on the bottom and a sword like that. And I sat and watched him paint the model from beginning to end. And I watched him, and I learned so much from just watching. So what I did was I then went and bought the same model, all the paints and the brushes he used. I went home, and from memory, I recreated that paint job, which again, if you want to see that paint job from when I was a little kid, it's scroll down in my gallery, it's down in there. And it was the single biggest learning experience of my life, I'd say, for painting. You know, a massive penny dropped in many ways. And thinking back, I was the only one in the entire shop doing that. And thinking back to a couple of nights ago when I did one of these live streams, and I was painting this guy. In that live stream I didn't say anything. This is the point of this conversation. in that live stream I didn't say anything. I notice there's only 2 people in this live stream, but I'm going to urge you, watch what I'm doing. You might not think you can see, yeah, because I think in the live stream I actually did close up. Now, I kept my eye on how many people were in that live stream and for how long they stayed, and it basically ended up in the end like 0 people, yeah. Now, that surprised me, because I was that kid that learned so much from just watching. That made me wonder why people weren't as engaged when it's all there in front of them being demonstrated. When a lot of the people that follow me because they want to get better. And the single best lesson I ever had was one where I just watched from start to finish. So I wonder, it made me sit there and just wonder why are people like that? Is it something now we can develop? Yeah, you guys that are in now, if you get an opportunity to watch somebody who inspires you paint, which I hope is me as well, then, you know, just sit and watch them. Even better if you ask questions, you know. But on that night, it was late at night for me, you know. And I wasn't in the mood for answering questions. I was in the mood for demonstrating, though. But regardless, there's so much you can gain from just watching. And I mean watch in detail. There's more than meets the eye to the way a good painter wiggles his paintbrush. Now, from what I've seen and from what I've heard, there's a lot of painters kind of generally teach you how to use a brush, but they don't teach you in detail. Now, if you just take the things they say at face value as all there is to learn, then you've immediately just capped your learning limit. But watch. Painters subtly change brushes. They do it without thinking about it. Yeah. Now again, this is a lesson that a lot of my students will get if they stay with me for a long time. Well, I say a long time, because some of these subtleties are actually they're hard to spot in yourself at first. So what that means is you have to get good at looking at yourself. Well, how do you know if you're doing it right or wrong? Well, you need to look at somebody who can do it and compare yourself. Which brings me full circle back to watch people paint. Yeah, watch the successful people paint. Watch them more than you listen to them. Because I'm in a very gifted situation. I'm probably one of the few people on the planet, dare I say that can teach in the kind of detail that I do. And the reason I teach in that detail is because I've got a lot of experience just teaching. And I don't mean running classes here and there, blah, blah, blah. I mean teaching people in detail. I mean teaching people to be better professional painters, as well as competition painters, as well as army painters, as well as somewhere in between, as well as whatever it is, I've taught it, and I've taught it in detail. And not only have I taught it in detail, I've taught it in detail to many different people with many different language barriers, experiences, ages, physical abilities, learning abilities and learning disabilities. I've taught the same thing in many, many, many different ways in order to get it through to a student. So I have an insight in teaching painting that a lot of other painters just don't have. And I know that. I absolutely know that. And where does that come from me? Well, that comes from in me the ability to observe in detail and adjust in detail. And that skill is one that isn't really being practiced. The ability to observe, compare and adjust. So what you have at the moment is you have this world of YouTube that essentially is just it's creating a lot of assumptions that, oh, that's all there is to it. And in many ways there is, that's all there is to it. But at the same time, if you really roll up your level, then there's a lot more to learn, and you need to use your eye, your awareness, and your perception. Perception is a big one. So I mean, awareness is a big one as well. So why do they choose perception? I actually rarely talk about perception. A lot of people assume they know what they're looking at, and what they do is they make a wrong assumption, and that is perception, essentially, or at least in this context. So what people perceive is happening isn't really happening, you know. What people perceive as a technique isn't really a technique. For example, one of my biggest gripes is, oh, non-met is a technique. Well, non-met isn't a technique. Non-met's the result of certain techniques applied in certain places with certain colours. Alright? The technique is how you get the colour in those places to get certain effects. Alright? You know, perception. The only way to develop those things is to ask yourself if really what your assumptions are they actually true? Yeah. Are they actually true? Do you know they're true? How do you know they're true? Can you test it? Can you test it in many different ways? You know, can you push it to its limits? Can you see what it can do easily? So when you see what other painters can do, don't just assume that what they're telling you is the full picture. Not that I'm saying other painters aren't good teachers, because they are. The fact that they're teaching is a good thing as well. But there's more than meets the eye to holding a brush. There's more than meets the eye to loading a brush. There's more than meets the eye to wiggling it at your model. And there's more than meets the eye to different brands of brushes as well. So I'd recommend to anyone that ends up watching this video, watch more. Watch yourself and watch good painters. You know, go and watch Darren Latham's videos. You know, because there's a fine example of there's actually a lot more going on than meets the eye. So, in fact, here's a great example, right? If you were to take the same project, the same colours, the same brush, and go and copy one of his videos or one of my videos, will you get the same results if you try and copy it stroke for stroke? You might not, you know. Well, that's the difference that's missing, and that's the difference that's not being taught. Yeah. So with that, what differences can you spot? What differences can you start to apply? What differences can you develop and improve? Which takes me on to another thing. Perseverance. Persevere, man. So I'll give you an example of perseverance. You know, and this applies to the guitar playing I do as well. For those that know I play guitar, I literally worked on changing one habit. Yeah, one habit that I had in painting. And I also had it in guitar, and it took about the same amount of time. 1 to 2 years to change one habit. That's what I'm willing to do. So if you're not getting results overnight because of whatever you're trying to develop, and you use the excuse, oh, that just doesn't work for me, then it never fucking will. Simple as that, really. You know, I never use that excuse. Never, and I never will. That doesn't work for me. So here's a question. And again, that idea is a perception-based thing. Here's a question for you. What's the difference between what doesn't work for you and what you have failed to make work for you? What's the difference? The difference is time, perseverance. Yeah. It's not that doesn't work for me. You're doing it wrong. It's as simple as that. You know, anyone can do what I can do. Yeah. The difference is are you aware of what choices to make in order to get that result? Yeah. And that is a case of perception. Yeah? If you perceive things as not working for you, how can this brush not work for me? It's an inanimate object. Yeah, it's animate when I make it animate. How can the paint not work for you? Paints have certain properties which make doing certain things difficult or not difficult. Well, then you've got to be aware of those things and adjust to them, or don't use that paint. Yeah. Use the right tool for the job. Yeah. Set yourself up in a position where you make things work for you. You know. So there you go. Have some nuggets of wisdom. I mean, some of you might be all, you might try and pick that apart, because there's lots of smart asses out there. You know, for example, oh, I thought paint has certain properties, and then it's not working for you, is it? If it's not the right tool for the job, well, that's not the paint's fault. That's your fault. Choose the right tools. You know, simple as that. If your brush is getting a little bit old and busted, like this one is, get rid of it. Get rid of it. Yeah, make that situation work for you. You know. So yeah. So like this chicken thing here. Another one. You know, the latest Stormcast model I've been painting. You know, the reason I painted that guy in that way is because I heard somebody say, oh, doing X, Y, Z. In such and such a way, doing non-mets in a realistic way, doing non-met steel that looks convincing and real in hand is really difficult, to maybe impossible. I was like, right, okay, yeah, we'll challenge accepted, you know, and I think I've done a pretty good job. And I'm generally not one for blowing my own trumpet, but it's one of my favourite models I've painted now. You know, so if I'm enjoying looking at my own paint job, then I know I've ticked the box somewhere. And in pushing that that perception of what is possible for me or for whoever else, I've ended up developing myself. I've ended up learning something more, not just about myself, but also about the projects I'm doing. Yeah. So by pushing the perceptions, by becoming more aware in detail of what people are doing, and by practicing the skill of perception and the skill of awareness, what more are you going to learn? Yeah. And as you learn, what more will you then learn? Like, for example, if all I can perceive is here, yeah, all right, well, I've got whatever kind of potential of more perception. If I go like that, well, all of a sudden I'm more aware of this. I'm more likely to go, well, what's beyond that? And well, all right, so I'll go like that. Well, what's beyond that? And what's beyond that? And your perception and awareness and that skill just keeps getting bigger. Now, here's the next thing. If your perception and skill and awareness for learning in that way is now broadened, well, when you take that broader scope of perception and you apply it to something new, are you then going to learn more quicker and perceive and see and become aware of more things quicker? And the answer has to be yeah. Alright. So, be aware, practice more perception, watch more painters paint more, take notes. Take notes. So here's the thing. It took me a year to maybe 2 years to learn. Now, it's a thing I decided to chase as opposed to something shown to me. And every time I used to go to Warmer World when I was a staff member with Games Workshop, I'd go and look at certain models and certain things would impress me. And I spoke to Neil Green one time. I'm sure he won't remember. I spoke to Neil Green one time and I asked him, how did you do X, Y, and Z? And he just went, oh, it was just that. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, and I didn't get it. I didn't get it at all. Yeah, and all it was one line. It was one highlight on the orc's trousers. Just an orc boy, one highlight on an orc boy's trousers. I was like, man, alright, okay. And I set off trying to copy essentially what I call the perfect stroke. Alright, and in order to get this brush stroke in such a way, I drilled it and drilled it. Every brush stroke I did on every project, I tried to get like that. Now, I wasn't just trying to, in this process, I wasn't just trying to emulate the result, because I didn't know how to get the result first. What I first needed to emulate was how to load the brush, the right pressure for the brush, the right angle for the brush. Yeah, I had to then figure out the process. What process did he use to get that result before I could even practice keeping the result? So I had to become super aware of what was happening. Yeah, in like micro amounts of detail. Yeah. Now, maybe or maybe not. What am I saying? Maybe I did get his method right, and maybe I didn't. But either way, I ended up increasing my skill level and producing a way which I can really recreate those results. And now I see those results. Now I see more in other people's results than maybe they know, and I learn more looking in detail at people's paint jobs all the time. And again, I worked on the ability to paint one brushstroke for years. One brushstroke. So next time that idea pops in your head of, oh, it doesn't work for me, just remember I spent years just trying to get one brushstroke right. One brushstroke. Yeah. Change one habit. Alright. So yeah. There you go. Have that. Has anyone asked me any questions, by the way? No? Which is nice, I suppose, considering I've just said shut up and watch. So yeah. Was it Aldous Huxley? Wait, he had a saying, the doors of perception. Yeah, do some of that. Ooh, do you like my mug? I know it's all backwards in here. And I know I'm sideways as well. It's better for you guys because you can see more. Okay, who's still in? Who are the viewers? Have you been enjoying that Ogroid Myrmidon, by the way? Seems to be pretty popular so far. And for those that subscribe to my YouTube channel and leave a comment on one of those videos for my Ogroid Myrmidon, I'm going to choose somebody to win this guy. Now, I painted this guy a couple of years ago. Here's a picture of him in my gallery. He was a challenge. Can you paint one of these guys as quick as you can? And I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, let's do it. This guy took me 2 hours. Yeah, from undercoat to finished. Yeah, so he's a 2-hour model. And he sat around my house, not doing much, because I don't have a Nurgle army, and I'm not a Nurgle kind of guy. So this guy, he needs to go to one of you guys. So, yeah, click the link in my bio. The top 2 videos for the Ogroid Myrmidon guide. Click on that. Watch it if you feel like watching it. It's good info in there. And leave a comment why you want him. And I'm going to choose somebody either at random, or if your comment speaks to my heart, yeah, I'm just going to choose one of you. I don't care where you are on the planet, I'm going to try and get this guy to you. And that's pretty much it. And if you'd like to share the fact that I'm giving this away to somebody who you think might like it or might deserve it, then, you know, share me on wherever, tag me in it, so let me know so I can go, that's dead nice of you. Because, you know, I've got a lot of stuff accumulated over the years, and a lot of it has to go. So I'd like it to go to you guys, and I'm finding that giving stuff away is really difficult. Like, right, this is how difficult it is. You know, how much is this model worth? It's 80 quid. It's not painted poorly at all. It is a pretty good paint job for a 2-hour paint job. I enjoy looking at it still. I like it. Alright? I've had 200 and odd views on this video for this guy. Guess how many comments I've had? Yeah, to win it. Guess how many comments I've had? 1. Only one person. So there's one person right now who's definitely going to win it. There's only one person. One person. And it ain't any of you guys. Do you know what I mean? So if just one of you guys goes and comments on this video, you've got a 50-50 chance of doing it. You know, there's only 2 of you in this video. Like, why don't anyone want it? I'm giving it away. It's here. Woo, a dude. Painted. Do you know what I mean? And here's the other thing. A lot of people are surprised when I say this was done to this standard in 2 hours. What are you going to learn from winning this model and looking at it in the flesh? Yeah, you're going to go, like, if you're an army painter, let's say you're a commission painter where time is money, yeah? And let's say you get 2 people who can finish a project in the same amount of time, yeah? Yeah, one can do it better than the other. Do you know what I mean? How much would you pay to get something like this commission painted? Yeah? It'd be a lot more than you think. And this ain't a CAC model at all. So I'm giving this away. You might as well try and win it. Go to my YouTube channel, leave a comment, subscribe, and I'm going to choose one of you. So yeah, good old Nurgle dude, like 85 quid's worth of model. And a pro paint job. Yeah, go and have a look at the paint job in the gallery. And if you like him, even if you don't like him, get him as a present for somebody. Yeah, there's like, I'm struggling to find a reason to not get involved with trying to win it. You know, you can't find the video. How can you not find the video? So there's a link in my bio. Yeah, that takes you to my YouTube channel. Yeah. And then all the videos there is an Ogroid Myrmidon painting guide video. Whether it be the live stream or the close-up video. So if you click on the videos tab in my YouTube channel, yeah, the last 2 videos I've uploaded. Yeah, leave a comment, subscribe, blah blah blah. You know, and that's that essentially. It's got to be public because the video has to be public because I'm getting loads of views on it. So I can't leave it. Right. Yep. So I'm going to do the announcement in a couple of weeks as I move along with the Ogroid Myrmidon project. I might do it at the end of this project, but we'll see how I go on with this, because I might get stuck in detail. You might get a full painting guide for this Ogroid dude. Now, my initial intentions for the Myrmidon to paint it to a good but quick standard, but without rushing it. All right, so. And then what I might do is I might move it into a more hyper detailed standard from that point. But we'll see. Yeah, I'm just going to play it by ear, you know, because I'd really like to share I'd like to share all aspects of the hobby with you. But with the Myrmidon, I'm trying to share the idea that, you know, you can kind of just let go. Yeah. I want to share the idea that you can change your mind partway through a project. I want to share the idea that you don't have to get all fussy about being neat. I want to share all the ideas that this stuff can be fun and straightforward and easy, even at a higher end level. I want to share the ideas that it can be quick. Yeah, it doesn't have to be as time consuming, as painstaking as people make it. So, you know, as much as I'm showing you how to paint an overgrown myrmidon in those videos, I'm also giving you a lot of concepts that can be applied in every other area. So yeah, go and enjoy it. Who's saying what? Some Falcon. You drive every time. Nice topics in direct use and metabolizing weeks. But today I'm happy to see you more relaxed. Well, thank you, Son Falcon. Where are you from, by the way? Because I can tell your English needs a little bit of tweaking here and there. But I assume that's a compliment. Yeah, I've not been very well over the last few weeks, if I'm very honest, in many ways. And I actually struggle to talk about it, and I struggle to talk about it for a couple of reasons. One, I don't like to use it as excuses, because I feel like that's what I'm doing. And two, I don't like talking about it, well, because it's a reminder of how shit it was. And I'm actually going to talk about it now. Well, not in detail, but the fact that I am talking about it now. I just got to be a little bit more light-hearted about it, you know, because through illness and whatever else over the last few years, I started to take life a little bit too seriously. Started doing things out of fear and panic and blah, 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 you know, and this hobby being one of them. And it's really started to affect me. Being ill mentally and physically is not nice, as we all can maybe imagine. But being cool about it was the thing I never realised I would actually have to develop, you know. So I suppose I should practice talking about it more and being cool about it instead of freaking out and looking all like, oh, leave me alone, you know, but whatever. Anyway, you've got to watch the video before leaving a comment. Thank you. Yeah, watch it all the way at the end, without a doubt. I hope you find them entertaining. And thank you for watching, and thank you for whoever's going to win that thing. I'll show you again. I should get another lamp for over there, shouldn't I? I keep saying that. I've got a lovely new environment. You might notice the yellow wall is gone. Yeah. Should I paint this wall yellow? There's the question. Should I keep the yellow of all my old videos? So essentially what I've done is I've moved all my hobby stuff into one room in the house. I normally had it in my living room, and kind of everything started to kind of take over my living room now. So what I did was, excuse me, I moved my living room. No, I haven't. I moved my bedroom into my living room, so I have like a studio flat, excuse me, kind of area. And moved all hobby stuff and anything that used to be work related from when I was working into one room. So it's become a little bit of a hobby haven. So if I get the work head on me now, I can just be in a place where I'm focused and not distracted by guitars or TV or whatever else. And vice versa, if I want to go and relax, I now just go and relax, and I'm not confronted by projects half done, you know, or the obligation to do this, that and the other, and I can actually now start to chill out, you know. So yeah, there you go. Chin chin. Good evening, everybody. Ruben Romero. So yeah, there you have it. Yeah. If anyone's got any other questions, get them in. No, I'm going to crack on paint this guy for a couple of minutes. And then I might shut this video down. And I think I'll upload this one to YouTube as well. Your silence inspired me. So yeah. And I like having the video sideways as well. I think it's miles better. You know, a little bit of jiggery pokery to spin it round. And then upload it to YouTube. Something happens to the videos in certain cases, so like the video kind of gets compressed. Not into that. I don't know why. I don't know if it's YouTube that does it or my phone app editor that does it, and it kind of ends up with a black border around it. Does my head in. Sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't. Aye. Do. So who is painting what? What colours go for Mimi? What? Rephrase that question into something that makes sense for me, Ruben. Because if you're asking what colours for a mini, which mini? Yeah. Throw me a bone. So I'm using here, by the way, Warp Fiend Grey and Pallid Witch Flesh. And that's the main colour of the grey skin for this guy. Again, if you want to look at the model in detail, the picture is on my Instagram gallery. Okay, dudes, I'm going to say goodnight to you guys. Thank you for joining me. That's me, over and out.